The hardest parts for me have been the armpits, the inside of the legs, the pads, the belly, his belly and sanitary area, bum, and then the over that as well. This is Cisco. He's a really sweet boy. He's been for 15 years, and I've actually been working with dogs for about 25 years. I started baiting them in my mom's pet salon that she ran out of our house, so I'm doing it for a long time. I've worked with over 20,000 dogs, and this is how I get all the hair out of the nooks and crannies on a dog. So let me just confirm the length that we're doing on Cisco. Boop, 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 open my notes. That way I don't accidentally screw up the haircut. That's an easy mistake to make. It's an easy way to lose a client too. It's your first time and you screw up the haircut, there's a good chance they're not coming back to you. I'm gonna just go ahead and start off by showing you all of these hard areas, how I work with them. So the first one is gonna be armpits. The way that I shave the armpits is by doing two things. I will pull the arm forward like this, and I'm referring to this front armpit, but I'm just going to show you from this angle so you can see it. I'll pull the arm forward to shave the inner, and so I'll stick the corner of my blade right into the armpit, and I'll go flat against his belly when I have the arm back like this, and then when I have the arm pulled forward, I'll go flat against the armpit, or the leg, like this. So, I think the other camera would probably be a little bit better if you just see this. So this is the armpit trick. Alright, Cisco, can you put your head up, buddy? So you can see. Good boy. Well, I should be recording this. You can hear that in the background. So, if I want to shave, I'll just go ahead and shave around his shoulder and arm first. Just kind of show you. And this is probably not the best example because I have a clip on. It's a little difficult to see where the hairs are even long in the first place, but so if I want to shave the inside of the leg, I pull it forward. In particular, I'll shave directly back against the leg, and then I'll shave down the leg. Now I'll come for the belly side, push his arm back, and I stick this side of my blade directly against his leg as I shave it. And then the next thing that I'll do is pull the leg forward and shave straight down from this side. The dangerous thing you could do here would be to shave up across like this. The only way that I cut this is by going directly into it. Now this clip-on couldn't cut it, but I could just poke him and make him really uncomfortable. So now I'm going to get the back of his leg. Come around the elbow like this. And the second step, and I would normally do this at the end of the groom, but I just want to get it right at the beginning of this video. One of the members of my group asked specifically for this, so I'm just doing this for her. Now the second step is I pinch the skin in the armpit to roll around the hairs, to roll the skin around to expose the different hairs that I want to cut. So you can see as I'm pinching and rolling, hairs, pull them out. I'm going to make sure I know where the skin is. The skin is actually right here. So I can cut all of this without having to worry about nicking him at all. and then I will pinch and roll to try to get more hairs exposed. There's some more. And I'll do it one more time in the back. Some hairs back here. One more time kind of on the side of his leg. And I just keep re-gripping, pinching, and rolling those hairs until the armpit is nice and clean. Check from the front. The rest of his body isn't shaved, so you can't see how clean this really makes it, but this is the technique to get it super, super clean in the armpits. Now, the other areas, let's see. The other areas or nooks and crannies that are difficult to get into are going to be the inside of his ears, the pads of his feet, the sanitary, and I do have really community. It's a free course. You can go find those. Those are going to be a little bit better, but I'm going to try to give you a quick overview of those areas real quickly right now. So let's jump to off. So this is going to be how I shave the pads of his feet. I lift the leg up, and I'm using a number 10 blade. With people like to use a 30 blade, and that's fine. You just have to be a little bit more careful of not irritating the skin or rubbing the clipper against it with two toe pads. Shave the top in the V shape, top on this side, in that V shape, come back to the bottom, to the other side, scoop it out real nicely, and the V shape is going to end right here, but if you were to do like an X and accidentally shave like this, there's a chance you could cut the skin between the toe pads. So you never want to do an X and accidentally cut into between the toes. You want to do a V and stop at the middle two toes. A V, and that's basically how I do pads. I'm going to zip through the other 4 pads real quick. That looks good. One more pad. Wait. This. You don't need to keep the clipper exactly in a V and only move in a V shape. You can scoop around to get the hairs that are growing on top of the toes. You just want to make sure you don't shave between the toes. Otherwise you might accidentally cut the skin. But you can kind of scoop around on top, and that's okay, that's safe. It's mostly just when you start to go down in between the pads that you want to make sure you're in that V shape. Okay, zip off the top of the pad, and now that foot's all done as well. Okay, the next nook and cranny that we're going to cover is going to be his belly and or his sanitary. So let's jump back to the foot camera. I think maybe the belly. Well, let's try the face camera first. See how it looks. So the easiest way to do this is to shave or to lift up their front legs and expose the belly. Not all dogs will allow you to do this, and if they don't, what I do in that scenario is I'll just lift up one leg like this, and then I'll shave underneath. But it's easier to show you on the camera if I lift up his front legs and expose his whole belly like this. The areas that you need to be careful of are going to be the skin right here that's stretched, and then just the tip of his penis. You don't want to go directly into it. You want to be shaving away from the tip, not directly into the tip. He's got a chunk of something right here. I'll go ahead and shave that out too. So I'll just come up his belly. I'm sticking this corner of my blade right into the edge of his belly. Trying to be very gentle, not digging one corner in on either side. That can scratch them. Okay, now this is pretty good, but what I can do is shave against the hair to get it even shorter. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay, and that is how I shave the sanitary on a boy. Next step we're going to do is to shave his bum. I'm going to try to get him at a good angle so you can see his bum. Lift up his tail, and I'm going to shave just these hairs right around his bum. I'm going to go against the hair, so I'm mostly shaving the hairs across, come underneath. Now, these hairs right here are not growing right next to his bum, but they're covering his bum. So I have to be careful not to accidentally shave all the way out to here trying to get these hairs. That's a big mistake because I've already shaved out a little bit further than I like to over here. So I'm going to stop going for those hairs, and I'll cut them later with my scissors. Okay, and you can see there's a couple chunks of some crusties that we would have had to scrub out with our fingers during the bath, but now it's shaved off, so it'll just wash off once we get him in the bath. Oh, that's not on camera. And got a different blade. Because I used that blade on his butt, there's potentially poop on the blade. I do not want to use that same poopy blade on his face. So I have separated that blade, I flipped it over so I know it's dirty, I'll clean it after I finish this grooming, but now I have a clean blade. We're gonna jump up to his face and his ears. So first thing I'm gonna do is shade out the corners of his eyes and the bridge of his nose. This is another area that can be a little difficult to shade out and to get clean. I stick the corner right in the middle, right here, and I try not to shave down the side of the nose, but I do want to shave just a tiny bit into the corner of his eye. So I'll cover his eye, keep him nice and safe. I'm actually closing it. I'll come in, I'll scoop the bottom corner first. That way I just shave a tiny, tiny bit down the side to get the eye goobers. And then I'll bring the other corner down the middle of his nose, and I'll shave all the way down. Not all breeds get shaved all the way down. There's a lot of breeds you only shave to here. This is the diamond, and that's all that you would shave. But Cisco is Havanese and Shih Tzus and some other breeds do get their nose completely shaved. Now we'll come to the other eye. Okay, there's the eye goober. Now I'll use the other corner, set my diamond right in the middle, and shave all the way down. Now that I'm looking at it, I shaved a little bit more on this side than I did on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and match that. Wait. Still a little bit more. I got to scoop out the corner of his eye a little bit. It doesn't matter if this side was right and this side was wrong, because this side was shorter and shaved more, I have to match the shortest spot. So I still need to take a little bit more over here. Okay, now that spot looks good. One more nook and cranny knocked off the list. Last one that I'm going to cover before the bath is going to be the inside of his ears. Now there's a little ear flap right here where the skin folds over, and there's two layers, and it's easy to cut it. I have a really good diagram of this in my course on the ear, shading the inside of the ears, but it's right here. You want to either shave this direction to make sure that you don't catch either edge of the flap, or be completely inside of it so that the edge of the clipper doesn't come in contact with the edge of the flap. I'm going to shave the inside over here first. I'm going to come over, flat over that edge. It's a little difficult to see where the flap is, so I do that first to kind of expose it. Now I can see it's all the way out here. So as long as I stay inside of this, I will be fine shaving it. Oh, good shake. Good shake. Okay, now the inside of this ear looks pretty good. These hairs will get plucked out, and we can go ahead and shave his other ear, but I'm gonna actually shave this. Okay, now that looks good. Now let's do his right ear. Do the same thing. Find the flap right here. Stay inside of that. I could even cover it just to give myself a little reminder where it's at. Totally safe to shave over the flap this way. You cannot nick it like this. Okay. And now the inside of this ear is shaved as well. I guess this fits well within the nooks and crannies video because getting hair out of the inside of the ear is one of the tougher spots to actually get. It's one of the tightest nooks. I shave the outside of the ear, or the surface of the ear canal, to make sure that when I come to this step for plucking, that all the hairs that are long are growing from inside of the ear canal. That way, I don't accidentally pluck hairs that were on the outside of the ear, because I only want to get hairs out of here by plucking, because I have no other way of getting them out. If I had another avenue of removing these hairs, of just cutting them, keeping them short, I would do that. But it's impossible to do because they're growing inside of the ear canal itself. So they have to be plucked in order to keep light and air a good pathway, so that light and air can kill the yeast that builds up in their ears and prevent ear infections. Okay, that ear looks good. Jump over to his right ear. I know, buddy. I know. Now, I've got some hairs right here that I think are actually growing on the outside of the ear. I don't want to pluck those. I'm going to go ahead and shave them. Now, plucking the ears like this with the hemostats can be a little tricky. It takes a little bit of practice to make sure that you don't accidentally pinch these folds. It's really easy to pinch this fold, easy to pinch this fold, easy to pinch it up here. All of those positions I just showed you, each one of those would pinch a piece of his ear. I like to stick it in between those folds and then very carefully close it down in between all of it. And now that ear's all done. Okay, so that's how I get in all the nooks and crannies on this dog. That's going to be the end of that section of this video. The rest of it is going to be me doing a tartar removal on his teeth, and then a teddy bear face, as well as a bath, dry, and cutting his hair. So if you just wanted to see the nooks and crannies, that's going to be the nooks and crannies for you. And I guess I can show at the end of the video, I'll also show how to finish the armpits, because I'll actually be finishing them then. But for the one member of my group, I hope this helps you. And there was another member who was asking questions about teddy bear faces. I am going to do a teddy bear face on Cisco here, so you can stay tuned for that. It's going to be after the bath and the blow dry, so probably about 40 minutes from now is when I'll actually be doing his body and working up to his face. Face is the very last thing, so if you're watching this after it's been recorded, you're just watching it not live, but the recording, you can skip towards the end. The face is one of the last things I do. Face, ears, and then I clean the inside of the ears very last. So let's go ahead and cut his nails now. jump in this camera so you can at least watch it. Again, I have a good video describing how I cut nails, and I don't have a ton of time now to go over it. So you can check out that video in my course. The link's in the description down below. It's totally free course, in case you were wondering. I know, Cisco. I know, buddy. Hang on. Hang on, big guy. No dew claw. Cisco. I know, it's okay. I know, buddy, I'm sorry. You gotta do it. Come on, buddy. You're okay. No, no, no. No, no, no. Stay there. You're alright. You gotta do this. Hang on, big guy. You're okay. I got you. Alright? Alright? Wait. Wait. I know it's scary. It's okay. No, can't act like that. There we go. I'll reach under his belly. That way he can't spin his body around on me. And I can hold his foot up and show you guys how we cut it. This is a nice technique when a dog wants to spin around on you. At least for the back left foot. If you were a right-handed groomer. I know. It's okay, Cisco. No, no, no. You're alright, buddy. Okay, one more foot. See the blood supply comes up to there. You can cut just above it. Wait. Blood supply. Can't see it past here, but it grows up to about there. Same thing. Wait. Cisco. Oh my. Oh my. This is rough, isn't it? Rough stuff. I know. Thank you for the kisses. He's just trying everything he can to get me to stop. Being super sweet about it, but he does not want his nails done. Good job, buddy. Well done. Next step is going to be his teeth. I think it'll be easiest to show you some of his teeth from his face camera. Stay there, buddy. Okay, so I've got this this little pick tool that I use to scrape off the tartar that's on his teeth. Don't know if this face camera will be able to pick up what I'm getting. It's kind of just similar color to his teeth, so it's not super noticeable. That first tooth was mostly plaque, not much tartar. Same thing on this tooth. Tiny bit of tartar, mostly plaque. Get his bottom canine. Now this service is only beneficial for the outside of his teeth. I cannot effectively clean the tartar off of the inside of the teeth. And that's one of the biggest reasons why veterinary dentals are still necessary. But the tongue is a natural cleaner for the inside of the teeth. So tartar builds up on the inside way slower. Where a dog might need a dental from the vet every year, with doing this service, sometimes they can do it every 2 or 3 years instead. What I cannot do is I cannot work on any loose teeth. I can't work on any teeth that have bone loss. I can't do anything if the teeth are chipped. Those sections where the tooth is chipped, I can't get that part clean. And the vets can do a little bit better job, but the chips are a funny one. I had a chip on one of my own dog's teeth, and the vet told me that it can somewhat harden and to some extent heal itself a small amount, where they don't actually need to do anything, which I thought was really interesting. I'd never seen that before or heard that before. Now, I don't know what the process is called, so don't write me in the messages that I don't know what I'm talking about, because I really don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just, I'm repeating what a vet told me once. His teeth are all healthy. No gum loss, no bone loss, no loose teeth. You can't forget these little teeth in the front, on the bottom. It's easy because they hide under the tongue. It's important to get them too. One more all the way up front. You probably can't see it on the camera very well. I can barely see it. And now underneath, got this back molar on the bottom. And this very back molar on the top. Okay, this side looks good. Go ahead and jump over to his left side. He's missing a few teeth in front. Those teeth were bad, they got pulled, or they were loose. And it's really common that the front teeth on these small dogs goes bad. They don't have gum lines wrapping all the way around the tooth. Like with this canine, there's no teeth directly next to it, so the gum line is wrapping completely around it. These front teeth are crowded, and sometimes they're touching, and whenever they're touching, the bacteria can go up between their teeth, and it eats away at the bone and the gums recede away from the bacteria or the tartar. And eventually you end up having loose teeth that need pulled by the vet. There was several chunks of the plaque on this tooth that I wasn't able to get with the tool, so I used the paper towel right there to remove the chunks. And the audio is probably much better now. The furnace isn't running, but it's still kind of crappy. And I do apologize about that. YouTube is not what I am, one of my strengths. I'm pretty new to it and kind of trying to figure it out. And it's just too difficult to have a mic attached to me right now. So I just use the camera mics, and they're kind of poor quality. And here goes the furnace again. You won't be able to hear me as good. You'll have that humming in the background you'll have to listen to. Cisco's teeth are quite clean. He just has a small amount of tartar on several of the teeth, but it comes off really easily because his owners get it done every time that he comes into me. So the buildup is very minimal and it comes off super easy. Almost done, buddy. Almost done. Okay, and now his teeth are all done. Okay. So that is going to conclude all of the rough-in steps. The next thing we're going to do is put him in back and give him a bath, and then we'll blow dry him, and we'll bring him back up front, and we'll finish his haircut. Okay, Cisco. Give me back, buddy. We're gonna get the water warmed up first. Okay, now I'm going to express his anal glands. This is an external anal gland expression. I'm just squeezing below the glands, lifting them up, and applying a little bit of pressure towards his bum so that they express. He did not have very much, but they expressed normally. And now I have this bathing system that mixes the shampoo for me, so I'm just going to apply the shampoo directly to his body, and it does all the washing for me. It's really nice. The only issue with this bathing system is that it requires the water be on full blast in order to mix the soap. And I don't want that full blast water to be spraying on his face. So now I'm going to get his head wet and wash it by hand. Come here. Very low water pressure. It's okay if it gets in his eyes, but I still want to avoid it getting into his ears and his nose. Make sure underneath his ear gets wet. If the fur is not wet, it won't lather and it won't come clean. It has to be wet, and then it has to have enough shampoo. Okay? Now I'll put the shampoo in my hand, lather it up, and apply it to his head. I'm going to try to avoid getting shampoo in his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth as well. Come on, Cisco. It's okay, buddy. What's up? It's really important when I'm washing by hand that any part of his face that doesn't lather, that spot's not clean. So it's important to recognize that it needs to all lather really well in order to come clean. Come here, Cisco. Come here, buddy. Try to carefully wash around his eyes. Try to take the extra soap that's down below, apply it to all around his eyes, scrub it in real good, make sure that everything is clean. And there's a chance that as I'm doing this, a little bit of soap can get in his eye. You want to use a really gentle shampoo, that way it doesn't burn their eyes if it does happen. And then you want to make sure after you're done washing that you rinse out the eyes with low water pressure, just in case a little bit of soap got in there. You can prevent any issues from just rinsing the eyes out very gently. Wait. Good shake, buddy. Okay, I'm squeezing out all the excess water, and I'm checking for any soap that's left on his body. If I feel anything sudsy or slippery, I'll look at my hands. If there's soap, then I'll wipe it off again, or I'll rinse off that spot again. Okay, let's grab a towel. Get this other camera on as well. Okay, I gotta fix this other camera real quick. Alright, buddy. Get you out of the tub and onto the drying table. Okay, the towel has soaked up all the water that it can. We'll go ahead and toss that in the washing machine. This next part is going to be blow drying. Now the blow dryers are very, very loud. Chronic exposure to them, chronic exposure to the dryer's volume can definitely cause hearing damage. So for the dogs, I'm going to give him some cotton ball earplugs. Take these cotton balls, tear them in half, stick them inside his ears. If you don't get the sizing right on this, they won't fit inside of the ear canal, and then they don't work very well. The dogs will shake them out, so make sure that these are not too big or too small. For small dogs, the jumbo cotton balls in half is usually pretty good. Some dogs have bigger ears than others though, so every dog is different. Now for myself, I've got these earmuffs. Go ahead and put them on. And we're going to use the blow dryer on high for his body and legs and tail, and then I'll put it on low for his face, keeping the dryer further away if he's wiggling and if he's holding really still, and I'm sure that I'm not going to have his high pressure air get in his eyes, nose, or ears, then I'll hold it close to his face and on his close to his skin to help it dry faster. Okay, they're all done. He's all dry. Teeny bit of dampness right here and here, but by the time we finish the whole haircut, that should dry. And yeah, let's head back up front and finish his haircut. Come on, big guy. Come on. Okay. Alright, so we're going to do 5/8 of an inch clip-on his body. And we'll be doing 1.25 inch teddy bear for his face. Go ahead and start with his body. This first step is actually setting the lines on the teddy bear. And it's just shading up here. Figuring out where that line should be takes a little bit of practice. There's a bone at the back of the head, or a knot on the skull, and you can do 2 fingers behind that, but it's going to vary depending on the length of the body and the length of the face. That's going to change how far or how high up the line is on the back of the head. General rule of thumb, the further back the line is, the fuller the head. So if you want a really full head, start further back, and if you want it to be really tight, then take it up a little bit more. Another important step with shaving with a clip-on is back brushing. All that hair that I just cut, after you cut, like initially, then back brush, and you can get a lot more. And this is the way to get the haircut nice and even. And you just keep repeating this process until the clipper no longer takes off any hair, and then you know that that area is all done. Good boy, Cisco. Since I've got the leash off, I'll go ahead and do all around his head. Lift his chin up. The line on the chin comes from underneath the ears And it kind of follows right where the collar would sit. Okay, now we've gotten all that hair off. Let's back brush it all, go over it again. Okay. Looks like there's a little more right here. Okay, now we can put the leash back on. Cisco doesn't need the leash very much, but it's safer to just keep it on. Alright, now we'll finish shaving his body. Now this spot is a little bit of a dangerous area. If you were to shave up into it like this, you could potentially nick the skin like that. And I did come right in and then scoop down. So it might have appeared like I went directly into it, but a little bit different when I come and change the angle so that the blades are going down like this. Some hairs get stuck in the clip-on. If you keep them out, then it'll cut more evenly. Another potentially dangerous area is right here. The dogs can kick up and put this part of their body into your clipper pretty easy. None of these areas are very dangerous in the sense with the clip-on because they're not dangerous in the sense that I'm going to cut the dog, but it could poke the dog and make them pretty dang uncomfortable, but it shouldn't ever cut the skin. But this little part could get stuck in between these teeth, and that could be uncomfortable with it, and it could scratch the dog's skin, which would be not good. But it's not like you're gonna cut the dog like this. When you're using a number 7 blade, it makes a lot more, it's a lot riskier, these same areas are, because all that has to happen is the skin has to stretch just enough to get past this thin section of the comb and touch the cutting blade as it's moving back and forth. So if there's a stretch of skin, it gets in between those teeth and gets far enough down. And right here, that could happen. Right here, that could happen. And in the armpit, that could also happen. So those are all areas where you have to be a little bit more careful when you're using a shorter blade. Not as careful with a clip-on, but you could still potentially hurt them, much less likely to injure them. But you still want to be careful. And that has me thinking about this concept, or this idea of what is the difference between making a dog uncomfortable, hurting a dog, and injuring a dog. They're all these amorphous terms that are kind of could be similar in the way we think about them, but making a dog uncomfortable is just asking something of them that scares them. You're not actually hurting the dog, but you're doing something that's making them feel unsure of their environment, making them, you're doing something that they don't like, touching their toes, maybe they have some trauma around that, but you're not actually causing pain. Discomfort is not the same as pain. It's a lower threshold. Now, there's also a difference between causing pain and causing an injury. The thing that I'm thinking of right now is you might hurt a dog by making them bleed, by cutting the toenail too short and making them bleed. Now that hurts a dog and it makes them bleed, but it's a little different than causing an injury. In my mind, an injury would be more something around a cut on their body that needs stitches. That is absolutely an injury. Now if you scratch a dog with the clipper, I would say you hurt the dog, but it's going to be fine. It doesn't need any sort of intervention. So in my mind, as I'm thinking about this right now on the fly, making a dog uncomfortable is asking something that they don't want to do. Hurting a dog is actually causing physical pain, but it's less, it's to the point where it does not need an intervention. Causing pain, but the dog does not need an intervention to fix whatever the problem is. If you have to super glue a cut, I would say you have injured that dog. If I have to take the dog to the vet because the dog is limping on its leg, I have probably injured the dog. And it's possible that maybe the dog already had an injury there and I just made it worse by pulling on its leg in a certain way, or the dog spun around on me and I didn't let go of its leg, or it has a spinal condition and I pick it up by its front legs, creating extra stress on its spine. Any of these things are easy ways to cause injuries, and they're all avoidable. That's the real thing. So, kind of an interesting defining those terms of causing discomfort versus causing pain versus causing an injury. And I would say an injury is the thing that there has to be an intervention. Pain is pretty simple. Anytime you're causing pain, we all know what pain is. And the dogs will sometimes show that they're in pain and sometimes they won't. Pain can be expressed by snapping at you and biting, crying out, or it could just be turning their head real quickly. A lot of dogs, if you cut their nail too short and it starts to bleed, they'll turn around on you real quick, but they might not make a sound. So it's easy to miss that, but that's definitely one of the signs that a dog is in pain. And then discomfort's the funniest one, because a dog might not be in pain, they might be discomfort or uncomfortable with what you're doing or what you're asking of them, and they'll scream and they'll cry and they'll act like they're in pain, but you're not causing any physical pain to them. So that's kind of a funny one, the way that the dogs will express that. Come on, buddy. Hang on. I just blew a bunch of hair on the camera. That reminded me that I don't know if I ever cleaned the lenses off. So I apologize in advance for this, but let's just get this lens, make sure you guys can see. I'll do this to all these cameras. let's keep shaving. We're getting close to having his body all done from shaving. Let's jump to this camera and we'll shave his front legs. Now I'm doing a leg lock right here where I pull the elbow forward and that helps straighten out his leg. Nice technique when the dogs are trying to bend their legs and keep their legs away from you. This is one of the things that could be uncomfortable for a dog because I'm making his leg straighten out whether he wants it to or not. And so if the dog didn't trust me, then he might react to that and act like he's being hurt because he's scared that he's going to get hurt from this position. He doesn't like the movement that I'm doing and he reacts as if it were painful, even if it were not. Where's this go? Everybody. Okay. There's some hair in here. Get that all out. Now this should all cut smoother. There's a ton of talk right now about AI and how AI is going to either take over, kill us all, or maybe change our lives into this utopian, amazing, dream-like state. It's a really interesting debate. Who knows what's going to happen ultimately. I like to be more on the optimistic side. But one thing that's for sure going to happen is AI is going to completely disrupt so many jobs. In dog grooming, I believe AI will be slightly disruptive because it will be answering our phones, it will be messaging, creating appointments, marketing. On this YouTube side, I definitely see an impact where I hope one day to be transcribing all of these videos into different languages so that as I'm teaching, different people from different countries, different origins can all understand me. That'll be a thing. I won't have to do anything. AI will do all of it. Change like my mouth movements and everything. It's pretty wild. But one thing I expect AI to not be able to replace anytime soon is grooming itself. I believe that dog grooming is one of the most secure professions. Even if AI gets the ability to quickly respond, where right now it takes like half a second for the best ones to respond to like a voice prompt. The ability for them to recognize what a dog is doing make the necessary adjustments, increase pressure, reduce pressure, reward, correct, and for them to be able to get that right in the amount of time that it takes that people can do it, I don't expect that to happen for decades. If robotics make leaps and leaps, like just the wildest leaps that are unimaginable right now, I still believe that people will prefer a person to be working with their dog and not a robot. So I think this is one of the most secure professions from AI. I think it's an AI-proof job, although it will still be disrupted in some factors of like I can't wait to have an AI answering my phone calls because I'm terrible. My customers are super patient with me. I do a really good job with their dogs, and I think that's why they tolerate me never answering my phone, taking forever to get back to some of their messages. It's really not great, but because I do a good job, I'm able to get away with it. Let's see. Let's just turn you around. Turn you this way. It brings up another question for me. You know, if robots probably shouldn't be dog groomers, what people should be dog groomers and what people should not be dog groomers? I think if you want to be a successful dog groomer, one, you need to love dogs. If you don't love them, thoroughly enjoy being around them, learning, teaching, you're not going to like dog grooming. Dog grooming is very difficult. We're asking so much from these dogs that they never get asked at home that it ends up being, as a groomer, you're often the bad guy for the dogs. Because, I mean, look at the way that I'm interacting with Cisco right now. Cisco's being an angel, but I'm forcing him to turn around, I'm forcing him to stay where I want him to stay. I'm holding out his arm where he doesn't necessarily want me to hold his arm. I'm cutting his nails, getting in his pads, shaving his bum and his belly, plucking the hair out of his ears, in his mouth, like all the things. And so it's really easy to understand why a lot of the dogs don't like to be groomed. It's really difficult. We're asking so much of them that they never get asked at home. So if you don't love dogs, you're not going to be able to tolerate when they don't listen to you, and when they don't want to do what you want them to do. Another thing is, if you're not patient, you probably should not be a dog groomer. It takes a lot of patience in order to overcome when the dogs aren't working with you. It takes a lot of, what's the word? You have to be super patient and not get frustrated. You have to be able to control your own energy. If you can't control your own energy, and what I mean by energy is your own mental state. If you're not aware of when you're mad or frustrated, then you're going to have a really hard time working with the dogs. You won't know why, but some days they will just be fighting you way more than usual. And the reason is probably that you are fighting with them way more than usual. You don't realize it, but you're being more intense with your tone. You're being more intense with your grit. You're correcting them harsher and more intensely and sooner and more often without realizing it. And then other days, you'll be more patient because you're so happy, you're so feeling good, relaxed, that when the dogs act up a little bit, it doesn't bother you. You don't get your mood impacted by the dog, and therefore you're able to project a calmer energy outward, and the dogs will pick up on that, and then they'll be better. You'll be better at timing your rewards because you'll notice when the dog's doing what you want versus noticing when they do what you don't want. So you have to know your own energy in order to be a dog groomer. You have to be patient in order to be a good dog groomer. What are the benefits of being a dog groomer? I think that's an interesting question. Why should you be a dog groomer? You love dogs. You like setting your own schedule. And I guess this is a little bit more of, do you want to be an independent dog groomer like what I do? I'm my own boss. No one tells me when to start. No one tells me when to finish. No one tells me if my work is good enough. No one tells me if it's not good enough. I guess there is someone. It's the dogs and the owners. They let me know. If they don't come in again, then my work wasn't good enough. So if you are a self-starter, you're good at getting up every morning by yourself, showing up on time. If you're good at saving money, because you have to save up for taxes at the end of the year. No one takes out taxes when you're self-employed. If you have the tiniest bit of technology, technical intuit, or the ability to set up a Yelp account, set up a Google Maps account so that people can find you. You have to be comfortable talking to strangers, but they won't be strangers for long because the customers come back over and over and over again. I did a dog the other day that I've been working on it since I first opened up my business. They've been coming to me the whole time. This guy's been coming to me for at least 4 years. So a lot of times you'll get customers and they'll stick with you for a really, really long time, unless you suck. In which case they tell you they don't like you by not coming back. Some of them will tell you that they don't like you, to your face, and some of them will tell you that the work you're doing is not good enough, and they'll allow you to fix it. But it's a little difficult to give negative feedback, so a lot of people won't. They'll just find another groomer. But dog grooming is a very, very difficult industry for customers, for dog owners, because the industry sucks. Most dog groomers suck. The majority of the dog groomers that are out there suck. So it's really easy to become average. I mean, within a year of learning and working, you can be very, very much average or slightly above average. And within 2 years, you can easily be within the top 90th percentile of all the groomers. It doesn't take that much. It really just takes the dedication to learning, improving, making less mistakes each time, and trying to work with the dogs as best as you can. There's a lot of people who don't manage their energy. They're really angry with the dogs. They take out their own issues onto the dogs. They can't help it. They're not even aware that they're doing it. There's a lot of people who will injure dogs frequently by cutting them, holding them wrong, pushing them around. But the biggest issue is probably people being too busy, getting too frustrated with the dogs, and getting short with them. If you knew how much happens in a dog grooming shop as a customer, you would probably never go to a dog groomer. The industry is horrible, literally horrible. And that's not to say that there aren't great groomers out there, because there are. But even great groomers have bad days. And a lot of times the groomers are hiding behind a wall you don't get to see what's actually happening to them. And even when you are watching, they're on their best behavior, because as soon as you're not watching them, then they act how they really feel, which is when they're frustrated with a naughty dog. The dog is hating it, the dog's biting, the dog is fighting, and they're getting way too intense. They're getting angry with the dog, and they're not helping them work through it. And that is a very common occurrence. And if you don't do that, you can be a great dog groomer. Okay, I'm getting behind. Let's get his feet trimmed up. Let me show you a little bit of this foot camera. I'm brushing all the hair to the bottom of the feet, and then I'm trimming everything that's growing past the pads. Let's see. Normally I would have moved to the top of this foot, but then I remembered that you guys can't see what I'm doing. So I'll do the bottoms of these feet, and then I'll switch you to the other camera so you can see me do the front of their feet, of his feet. So I'm just repeating this same step, which is brushing all the hair down past the bottom of the foot and trimming all the hairs that grow past the pads. Okay, let's move up front. Let's see, let's put this down just a little bit more. Make sure I can show you the feet. Now I'm brushing out everything from the top all the way down. I'm going to round the outside and then the top of the foot. And now I'm going for the top of the foot. Now I'm going to set the foot down and see if anything sticks out. A little bit on the side. A little bit on the inside. Okay, now I'm going to come and scissor trim the armpits. I'm going to squeeze the hair so that it exposes, or squeeze the skin, and I'm going to roll the skin around to get different hairs in the armpit to expose themselves, and then I can cut them. I started off the video by showing this, but now you should be able to see it a little bit more clearly, the end results of a nice, clean armpit. Okay, that leg's all done. Now let's do the same thing with this other front foot. Around the outside. Around the top. Now it's a little easier for me being right-handed to approach this armpit from the back. And I'm pinching the skin, so I know that my fingers are at the end of the skin, and everything else that's below can be trimmed. And I'm rolling it around, trying to expose all the hairs so that everything gets trimmed evenly. Okay, armpit looks good. A little bit more on the back of this leg. A little bit on the inside at the top. Okay, leg looks good. Now we'll jump to these back legs. Oh, I actually missed a little bit on the back of this other front leg too. This is normal. Whenever you use a clip-on, there will often be a few hairs that still need trimmed on the legs. So it's important that you go over the legs with your scissors when you're using a clip-on on the body and legs. Okay. We'll just get the chest too. A few long hairs on his chest. Okay, now we'll come back to these back feet. Brush it down around the outside. around the top of the foot. Set the foot down. Teeny bit out here. A little bit on the inside of the legs. And it's a little easier to actually see this back, inside of this back leg. Trim around his bum. Okay, legs are done. Now we need to do his tail. Use some leave-in conditioner. I do apologize, I'm running out of time. So I'm having to move a little bit faster, not able to explain as much of this as I'd like to. Come here, buddy, hold still. It's a little difficult just to keep what I'm doing in frame for the camera. He's wanting to turn around and spin on me, and I have to switch cameras. Yeah, it all takes just a little bit longer. I've got to be efficient with my time right now. My next customer is going to be here in 20 minutes, so I have to have his ears, his face, and his tail all done in 20 minutes, which I can do, but I have to be on point, or else I will not be able to do it. Doing a fan tail, which means I'm combing both sides of the tail straight down, and I'm trimming in a asymmetrical fan shape. A little shorter at the tip of the tail, a little shorter at the base of the tail. Do that same thing to both sides. I need to get a little bit of this stuff in the base of his tail, cleaned up a little more. Okay. Once that's done, comb everything down from the top, shake it out a little bit, and see what long hairs we have. Still need trimmed. Okay, now we'll do his ears. Pull out the cotton balls. cotton ball is pretty clean, so I'll be able to reuse it to clean his ears at the very end. And just a heads up for anyone watching the live stream, I will have to mute the audio and put Cisco down if I don't have him done before my next customer shows up. So just so everyone's prepared for that, that may happen if you're watching live. If you're not watching live, then you can just fast forward right through it. Now I'm brushing out his face, being careful not to poke his eyes or his nose. Hang on, Cisco. Hold still, buddy. Hold still. Hold still. We need a little bit of conditioner in here. There's a few tangles that are not wanting to come out. Mostly in his chin. It's kind of funny. This cotton ball is also clean, so we'll reuse both of those. Wait, hang on. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to use that clip-on that I was telling you about earlier, the 1 1/4 inch clip-on to do his teddy bear face. Now his top of his head used to be shorter than a 1 inch, so it might not take much this time. Yep, and it's barely skimming it. But she wants the top to be longer to match the chin. He used to get a longer chin than he had on top of his head, but I think they're ready for something different. Wait. Wait, Cisco. You're okay, buddy. I'm being careful not to shave his ears with this clip-on. That's probably the biggest mistake, or the most common mistake that people will make when doing this. I'm following the direction of the hair, going over the cheeks, the chin, all the way down to the neck. Making sure that I've just gotten off as much as I can with this blade, and that'll leave the face as even as possible. Blend the ears. And now I can grab my scissors and my comb, and we can finish his face. Go ahead and jump to this face camera a little bit closer. You'll be able to see it just a little bit better. So I'm going to comb all the hair back, and I'm blending the hair into the neck. And the leash is making me concerned that it's stretching the skin. I want to make sure that the skin isn't stretched when I'm setting this part, because it can change where the hair sits. Blending in the back of the head, and then we'll comb it all up. Trim any long spots from this angle. Okay, now back of the head looks pretty good, so does the blending into the ears. I'll comb everything on top of the head forward, in front of the eyes, and I'll use my diamond, top of my diamond as the line that I'm blending all these hairs into. Wait. Okay, now that the front looks pretty good, I'm gonna comb down and then lift up. And I'm gonna start rounding up around the head. All right, buddy. Do the same thing over here. Now blend a little bit more on top. I'm going to connect the two lines so that it's rounded all the way across the top of his head. Okay, that looks pretty good for the top. Now I'm going to come down, come down to the cheeks, blend the top of the head into the cheeks, comb everything back. Everything that comes past the ear canal right here gets trimmed. And then I'll comb it all out to the side, blend it down. Blend the chin into the neck. Combing the hairs that are stained by saliva, all the ones that get pulled into his mouth, pulling those down, and I'm trimming them. Trimming everything to the bottom of the top lip. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side with his cheek. Hold still, Cisco. Hold still, good guy. Comb everything back. and then comb it out. Blend the cheek down into the chin and the neck. And now the muzzle, coming straight down, looking from right in front. You can see the hairs that need to get cut. Come here, Cisco. Almost there, buddy. Almost there. And now I'm going to compare side to side. Looks like there's quite a bit over here that still needs to get trimmed. Might have just made a hole. I did. Darn it. Made a hole right here. I have to blend it in. So unfortunately, I have to take his face quite a bit tighter now to match that hole. Come here, sister. Hold still. And now we have to tighten his right side to match the left side where I made that hole. Has to be balanced on both sides. So let's see, how much do we have to take off? Looks like, sister, come here, hold still. You're being a wobbly. Looks like all that needs to go. Wait, stay. Stay. Come on, hold still. Now I see a long spot near the front of his muzzle. Okay. And it looks like the chin's a little uneven. Okay. Almost there. Hang on, buddy. Now when I'm looking at his face, this left side has a little more overhang right here. That needs trimmed. And then there's a little bit on top. It's still sticking up, bugging me. All right. Oh, wait. A little bit right here. Okay. I think his head looks pretty good. What do we think, Cisco? You like how your head looks? Still a teeny bit too much here. Same thing here. There we go. Ooh, that changed things. He put his head down and all of a sudden this side looks too long. So we gotta trim this a little bit more. Hang on 1 second. Customer just got here. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be right back. Hold please. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that delay. Had to check in the customer and he had a few questions, so it took a little bit longer than usual. But we are ready to finish Cisco's face, and it's looking pretty good, but his chin just looks a little too big still. Now normally, I would leave his chin looking big because his owners like that. But now we're doing the top and the chin the same length, and so I feel that I need to balance these things out just a little bit more. So what happened while Cisco was on the ground is he shook his head a couple times really good, which helped fluff up these hairs and expose them to me that they're longer and they actually need cut. And that little bit just around that outside, I think that really touched up his right. So now let's do the same to his left. Come here. Come. Okay, and then it's a little tight right here, and then it pops out up here. So we're going to take all this down just a little bit more. And just a little right here. Okay. All right, and now we need to trim the bottom of his ears, and then we will clean his ears. So he gets his ears trimmed flat. So I just comb everything down. Trim it all flat. Okay. Same thing on this side. Comb it all down. Now, if you did a bad job of combing out the mats, you wouldn't be able, or brushing out the mats, you wouldn't be able to get the comb to go through the dog's fur properly. And then, in which case, it would go in and it would get stuck like right here, and you wouldn't be able to go through like this. That means you need to brush out better. Wait. Okay, and make sure the ears are even now. I think these ones are just a tad longer. Let's go. Okay. He looks good. Let's clean his ears now. So I put ear cleaner on these cotton balls, squeeze out the excess. Where's this one? Come here. Flip the ear inside out and wipe the inside of the ear canal with this cotton ball. Almost nothing on it. That ear's clean. And that's exactly what I expected because I reused these cotton balls from earlier, and when I pulled them out of the ear the first time, there was almost nothing on them. Come on, Cisco, hold still. Just being a little wiggly. Hang on, stop, stay. Just gotta get in here and wipe in the folds. Okay, also very clean. Now let's see if he'll shake for me. I should have used that last shake. Shake. Good boy. Okay, now he gave me one last good head shake. I'm gonna look at his head and see if there's any spots that are sticking up, still seem long. Okay. A little spot. There's some hairs right here. They're just kind of sticking out. Funky. Okay. I think he looks pretty good. You can still kind of see this little hole I put here. I matched it as good as I could, but don't think I can do too much better without making his face just too short. Alright, and with that, we're going to say that Cisco's all done. Okay, we made it. We finished Cisco's haircut. We got in all the nooks and crannies, those armpits, pads, belly, ears, sanitary, and we got his teddy bear all done. So if you liked it, I hope that you'll like the video, or maybe join my community if you want to become a groomer. There's free courses on there, and until next time, my name's AJ, and peace out. See how weird I can make it. Peace out. All right, Cisco, say bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Oh, thanks for the kiss. Thanks for the kiss. Oh, are we friends now? Yes. Are you happy now that we're done? Oh, yes. Thanks for the kiss. If you don't like dog kisses, don't become a dog groomer. Let's go, buddy. All done. All done. Woohoo! Woohoo!